All right, let's try and move other windows. In a previous video, we looked at the code inside of GTK to modify and move the current window. But sometimes you want to launch an application, it comes up in a window, and you want to manipulate that window. You want to move it, you want to resize it, you want to kill it, and so forth. So I've made a window here which doesn't have too much in it, just a bunch of buttons. There's a button to launch an application, and its name is going to be Launch 1, and it's got the signal Launch 1 clicked. Otherwise, these are just, they're all the same, basically. Move an application, it's called Move 1, and it'll have Move 1 clicked. Decorations off. This will turn off the decorations, the title bar and frame, which sometimes you want to do, but it has consequences. We did do it in the other video, but we did it on our own, the current window, our own window, not on an external window started independently. Decorations on is the reverse of that. Add the above attribute. In other words, make the window sit above the background or whatever is in the front. Sometimes this works, sometimes it doesn't. We'll look at it. Close an application, find an application. Sometimes you've opened a window and the user's moved it around on the screen and you want to know where it is. So that's what we do here. All right, all of these, their names are, there's Launch 1, there's Move 1, Deco 1, Deco 2, Find Application, Find App, Close 1, and Above 1. So these are my buttons. They're not very, it's not a very complicated application. Let's, in terms of the code, a lot of the code's fairly simple because all I'm doing, I just added a bunch of widgets, and they're all coming in in the usual fashion here through the GTK builder, which is reading from a file, as you know, new from file. You can somebody asked this online. You don't have to read from a file. You can read from other sources, and if you look up the function GTK builder, you'll find there's other ways of getting the XML file in. Normally it's from the XML file, but if for some reason you've got a very complicated XML file and you don't want other people to see it, you could actually embed it into your code. All right, I eliminated the default size of 700 by 700 because the window I'm dealing with doesn't have that much information in it. All right, what have we got here? First of all, Launch 1. This is where you launch a window. I really don't need the PID. Something else. You invoke the system function, which creates a shell and runs the program in the shell. The program I'm using here for example purposes is Gtk View, which is image viewer in my version of Linux, Linux Mint 19. With Mate. So it's image viewer is if you have to install it, but the actual program is called Gtk View. It just shows a picture, and the picture it's showing is panam.jpg. Now, if I just did that without, the ampersand at the end, if it didn't have the ampersand at the end, it would start the process. The picture would show up, and the main window, the window that launched it, this window, would wait. And this would freeze your GUI. You don't want that. You want system to return. So putting the ampersand there detaches this process. The shell containing the process, the Gtk View, is detached and it runs independently. And you get control back within a few milliseconds, whatever it takes to launch the program. And then you've got control, and of course you'll exit, and the GTK system will be happy because its threads are not blocked. But the problem is, of course, it's now detached. System does not return you the process ID. There are ways of getting the process ID, but I'm not using those. I'm using something simpler, which can be ambiguous at times, but in many cases it's okay if you pick your names correctly. Okay, so that launches will launch an application. In this case, it'll display a picture. Close 1. If you want to close an application, we run the program wmctrl. It's probably present in your system. It's Window Manager Control. It's in many of these GNOME-based systems. If you don't have it, install it. If you can't install it, I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do. But WMCTRL lets you control applications that are on your desktop. The -C is the close, and you can do a man command on this. Let me just do that here. Okay, you see here it is. It's usually part of your system, and it's got a whole variety of options. Some of them you probably would never use. Some are complicated, but yeah, there they are. So you can check to see if you've got it. If you got the man command, you probably have it installed. But anyway, it's probably there. It's going to close a window. And the question is, which window is it going to close? Well, what you do is you give the name or part of the text in the title bar of the window you want to close. Now, the window I want to close is going to have the title bar. It's going to say panam.jpg, because that's what gpic view shows. It shows you what it's across the title bar. It's telling you what it's doing. As you can see, the title bar up here in this current window is telling me that what machine I'm on and what directory I'm in. So title bars contain some information. If you know the information, part of the information in the title bar, that's all you need. It will go through the windows, the currently active windows, and it will scan each title bar. And as soon as it finds a title bar that contains the text you've typed here, even though the title bar may have something longer in it, if it finds this substring, that's the one that gets closed. And you can see that WMCTRL-L will show you what it sees. This is a hexadecimal ID. This is the window number, -1 for the panel and desktop, because they're not really windows. They're special. But you can see down here is there's one called Part 33. Where's Part 33? I don't know, somebody in here. Oh yeah, it's down here. It's hidden. It's there's Part 33. It's actually the directory, the KJ directory and so forth. Anyway, Part 1.glade. That's this one back here. That's the Glade window. And then there's the two terminal windows I have up. And then there's OBS, which is hopefully recording all this. So yeah, that's WMCTRL. And it looks for things, looks for these titles. These are the title bars, obviously. So if it doesn't find it, won't do anything. If you've got two windows with that contain the same text, it'll close the first one it finds, and not go on. So kind of works. If you get in a situation with ambiguous or multiple title bars that contain the same subtext, you may have a problem. There's also kill all. Kill all works on the process name. The process name here would be gpic view. And so it would kill any instance of gpic view, which may not be desirable if you've got multiple ones there, but it'll kill them all. Or you could go to just plain old kill, but you need to know the process ID. You can find out the process ID, but I'm not going to do it right now. There are ways of getting the process ID for one of these detached tasks. Unfortunately, system does not return it to you. I don't know why. Seems like it should. But nonetheless, that'll close the window. Okay, next one is move. And again, it's a WMCTRL. Now, I've done it as an sprintf, so that what the parameters are, this WMCTRL. You give the name, -R is usual the case, this -C is slightly different. You give the name of the, or the fragment of the text from the title bar of the window you want to manipulate. So again, I'm doing panam.jpg. -E0, 0 is the gravity, which is the orientation of the window, 0 is normal. And then it's got 4 parameters, 4 numbers, separated by commas, no blanks. And I've put them in as, they're not variables, but they could be. Anyway, 500 by 500, that's the horizontal position and the vertical position on the screen where the window is to go to. And then the width and height, 300 by 400. It will attempt to move the window and resize it. Some windows won't resize, as you'll see. This one won't resized to 300 by 400, but it'll get as close as it can. All right, and then you run system. Now this version running WMCTRL as it was above, it returns immediately within a few milliseconds. So that's moving the windows. Okay, decorations. Deco 1 was to turn off the decorations, and Deco 2 is to turn them back on again. So we come down here. What we need to know the ID number of the window that we're going to turn the decorations off on. In other words, we need to know this hexadecimal number, which was on the first column of the WMCTRL-L display. So I declare some character strings, file pointer, and I run WMCTRL-L like I did over here. You saw me running it over here. And then I hit insert by mistake. I run WMCTRL, I pipe the output to grep, and I look for PAN-AM, and I'm case insensitive here. And the R means that it's going to return. I'm reading from the output. So the output of grep will be passed back to me as lines coming in through P1, through the file pointer P1. So I'm grepping for PAN-AM in the lines from WMCTRL. I scan there'll only be one. If there's more than one, we get a problem. But I mean, hopefully there's only going to be one. If there's more than one, you have to rewrite this. But so when I do an fscan F on P1, I am going to get the line that came back, and as I say, it's hopefully one line. I should have checked to make sure that it probably should have said, if P1, if this thing is null, but nonetheless I didn't. In other words, if we don't get some input, but I'm not going to worry about it right now. So I read in as a string because it's coming back as text. I read into ID number. The text will actually be a hexadecimal number. Close out P1. All right, and this is the command here that we need to that needs to be run. It's xprop. Xprop is a program. It's again probably in your system. It does all sorts of odd things, but you need to provide it. One of the things you need to provide it for is the hexadecimal ID of the window. And the parameter that's being substituted in there is ID number. So at the %S, the ID number, which was read in a few lines above, will be substituted. And you can look up xprop. Notice the backslash here because I'm continuing the line. This is all one big long line. You could cut it here, of course. But anyway, it's the 2 here that causes the decorations to disappear. And I run it. An alternative way of doing it down here in comments is that if you know the name of the window, the whole name of the window, not just part of it like WMCTRL, if you know the whole name of the window, you can specify it. This will not work at panm.jpg because the actual name I think is quite a bit longer. I'm not sure. But anyway, if you know the whole name, you can do it with a dash name and you don't have to find the ID number. But this does the same thing, but it uses the name. But again, as I say, it has to be the whole name. Okay, Deco 2 is where you turn them right back on again. And it's basically the same thing. You find the ID number of the... well, if you up here, I said if you don't have if the ID comes in negative, of course, xprop won't do anything. If the ID is missing, if it's not there, it won't really hurt because it's not going to do anything. You can't modify a window that doesn't exist. This is the same thing. It finds the ID number, reads it as a hexadecimal, and then runs xprop. And the only difference here is it's not 2 right here, it's 0, and that turns them back on. When the decorations are off, the window cannot be moved in the usual fashion because you don't have a window bar to grab onto with your mouse. You have to use Alt and then hold down the left button, and that allows you to move it. It makes them look like tiles. So there may be reasons why you want to do it, but that's how you do it if you want to. I wanted to do it some time ago, and it took forever to find it, so this may seem like it's useless until you need it, and then it's a good idea to know where it is. Here it is. Okay, making the window above, in other words, this window here is above this window here. Now they're reversed. That attribute can be added with WMCTRL. Again, it's identifying the window in the usual fashion, and I'm adding the attribute above. Sometimes this doesn't, it gets a little flaky, but it can make a window pop up on top. I hate it when you get hide behind windows when you're doing something and you don't know why everything's frozen. Well, the reason is because it's popped up a message that you have to click OK on or something, and it's hidden it behind other windows because somebody forgot to say put it on top. But yeah, the hide behinds, I hate them. So anyway, you can get rid of the hide behinds usually by you adding this line to your code. Okay, finding the app. Where have we gone? Where has it gone? Now, in this one here, XID, I'm not really using that, am I? No. Oh, excuse me, I was mistaken that I was using the ID, but I'm not. I am reading the ID. I misread that. Okay, WMCTRL-LG large. You get a longer display. You still get the hex ID, you get the window number, but you also get the coordinates of where it's located and how big it is. And you get the name. It's a longer display. So when I do this here, I'm doing WMCTRL with the long display, pipe the output to grep, have grep look for Pan Am. Notice I dropped the .jpeg. Shouldn't have that because dot means something to grep. But anyway, wouldn't hurt, but technically, it's a regular expression. And I'm reading the result. I empty command just in make it a null string or an empty string. And if fgets is not equal to null, it means I read a line in, and then I do a scanf on the line. And the order in which I'm getting things will be, the first column is going to be the hexadecimal ID. Notice these are columns with multiple spaces. That's why scanf is useful. Second is the desktop, which I really don't care about either of those. The horizontal and vertical position of the window. That's the horizontal and vertical position of the upper left vertex, this guy up here at the very top of the window. The width and the height. And notice they're all presented as addresses because fscanf, of course, modifies them. Therefore, you have to pass the address. Okay, and then I just prints out each of those values, of course, without the address this time. Otherwise, it prints out not found. Couldn't find the window. Okay, that's what it looks like. Let's drop this down here. Did I write that out? In case I modified anything that's causing it to blow up. And let's get this off the screen, and we will compile it and run it. And I'll put that over there. All right, here it is. Launch the application. Well, there it is. This guy is above because it, I think it did anyway. It still had the residual on top designation. Close the application. There it goes. Launch, close, launch. The Windows Manager likes to throw things in different parts of the screen. So that's not me. That's Windows Manager. Move the application. Okay. Now the thing is, if anywhere I move it, it's going to move it back because I've only got one set of numbers there. So you could, of course, dynamically alter those numbers. Let's see. Let's make it back. Whoops. Let's make it a little larger again. Okay. Let's see. Decorations off. Now you see when I right-click the mouse, it's trying to move. That's because it's moving the scroll bar here, but it's not moving the underlying window. If I hold down Alt and hold down the and depress the left mouse button, I can move it. But otherwise, it's kind of static there. The decorations are gone. Decorations on. Now I got a Windows bar that I can move it. Let's see. There's the above attribute. Well, it didn't work because the other guy was, this guy apparently is more durable. Okay, you'll notice, let me kill it and start, okay, we'll kill the thing and we'll start it again. Okay, yeah, you'll notice this guy is on top now. And if it hit the above attribute, it does move up. And like I said, it's not guaranteed, but it usually works. This one has the on top attribute already in it, and it can't be overridden apparently. All right, so it's on top, decorations on, decorations off, find the application. And you'll have to look at the output coming down there. And it's, there's the hex ID, it's desktop 1, it's at horizontal 930, vertical 111, it's 640 by 708, excuse me. If I move it over there and to find application again, you see you get another number. So if you want to move something to a specific place, if you want to know where it is for any number of reasons, this will do it. So there we go. Close the application. Oh, by the way, if you exit this guy without closing it, of course this one stays running because it's detached. It's a forked process. This has not been killed yet. Let's open a terminal here and do an LG on it and see everything. And you can see it here. There's the name of it. It's panam.jpg, and there's its various information. See, the actual name in the title bar up here is not just panam.jpg. It also has information about the original size. I guess that must be of it. I'm not sure. Does it change if I move it? If I enlarge it? No, it doesn't. It comes back the same number. Yeah, same number. That must be the original size of the, I don't know, it's whatever GPIC view puts up there. And you can see the other processes that are running. All right, so you'd have to kill this one by yourself. You could set it up so that on destroy, it would go ahead and kill anything that got started. The on destroy function, whoops, looking for the wrong thing. Well, it says I'm already editing it. All right. I never got out of the editor here. The on destroy, let me just look here. You see the on topness of this thing. Keep above. There's the keep above. So that's why this window was staying above. It trumps the WMCTRL. And the on destroy occurs. Here's the on destroy function. All it does is called GT main quit. But you could set it up so that on destroy would look for anything that had been started and kill it, shut it down. So there, you could have it so things automatically die when your program terminates. All right, that's it.